Hey there, this is Clay with modernlove.life. And in this video, we are going to be talking about why your ex doesn't contact you. This is really confusing for a lot of people, especially if you've been following the, just trust the plan, turn your brain off, do no contact, just trust it, it works 100% of the time, i.e., no, it doesn't, sort of methodology with all of this. But really, what's going on here? Why does your ex not contact you? You're playing all these mind game things that other people are telling you to do. How come they're not crawling over these broken shards of glass to beg for you to get back together and all of that? What is going on? And the truth is that it's never that simple. If you've watched other videos on this channel, you know that it's never that simple. You know that one size fits all advice doesn't work, that every situation is unique, that every breakup is unique, that every, personality is unique. And obviously what is going to be the path that brings you and your partner back together is probably going to be different than what may work for someone who's giving out advice to, middle school kids about mind games and jealousy and all that stuff. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video here. Basically, your ex isn't contacting you, even though they may want to, even though they may feel a lot of things for you, because there are a few forces that are keeping them locked in place. We talked about this in the previous video, but they may feel this sense of stubbornness, like they have to behave consistently with previous actions, that they can't admit that they're wrong, right? That they have to say, okay, I broke up with you, now I have to just sort of like blindly barrel forward with my life. I can't admit that I was wrong. I can't admit that I miss you. I can't admit that maybe I'm having second thoughts. I can't admit that maybe this is hard for me. I can't admit all of that stuff because, hey, here I am on Facebook posting all these selfies with my new rebound partner, with my amazing, wonderful, perfect life and all of that stuff. And I can't let the cracks in the facade start to show that, hey, maybe I'm actually a shocking human being here who's having mixed feelings and confusion and doubts about my choices in life and all that stuff. And so they may just sort of like feel like they've painted themselves into a corner and like they can't get out of it. This is actually really common. This is why it's important for us to, build golden bridges. That's a technique that we have inside of our Effortless Connection course called Golden Bridges. When it does come to situations like this, we want to create the context within our relationship that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have perfectly human, normal emotions. We don't have to be these stubborn jerks that just make some sort of decision and then never, ever, 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 ever change our mind. Obviously, that is not a healthy relationship habit, and it is not something that we should try to embody ourselves. And so why not start to build in actual healthy relationship habits from the very beginning? Obviously, some of these might include things like, hey, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to change your mind about things. If you're going to be in a relationship with someone for a long period of time, spoiler alert, you may make a mistake. You may have to change your mind about something, and you may have to admit that you were wrong about something. Let's start making it okay for that to be the case, both for you and for your partner right now, rather than just, going to this fantasy that it's okay to always be right and you should never, ever, ever admit that you're wrong. Anyway, that's a whole side note. But yeah, that's one reason why your ex may not contact you, is because you haven't created this context, this culture that it's okay to change your mind, that it's okay to start doing that sort of stuff. So, put golden bridges into these sorts of things as you start moving forward. Another reason why your ex may not contact you is because they don't know what this means. There's a very unclear way for us to actually fit into each other's lives after we break up with someone. We have clear roles for a lot of different, hats that we wear in life. Like when we have a child, we're like, okay, I'm going to be loving and supportive towards you, whatever that means for you. That's up for debate. Or when you get into a relationship with someone, you say like, okay, yeah, I'm going to really care for you, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to nurture you, and I'm going to do the right things. Or when you get married, you're like, yeah, I'm going to, do the right thing to be a great husband or a wife or whatever. But when it comes to breakups, it's often not very clear. Yes, there are movies and TV shows that tell us that we're supposed to hate our exes because they're terrible, awful people that cheat on us and all that stuff. And maybe that happened between you and your ex. I don't know. But many times people break up and it's like, okay, well, my ex isn't this terrible, awful person. They're not some sort of, psychotic narcissist that's going to cheat on us all the time. So what are we supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to hate your guts anyway? I don't know. We're kind of off the rails here. You seem like a nice person, but we're incompatible for some reason. So should we just like not talk to one another, like what movies and TV shows tell us to do? Or should we be actual reasonable human beings and be in contact? But if we are, what does that mean? Does that mean we're getting back together? Does that mean that I'm giving you false hope? I don't want to think of that I'm the kind of person that's going to give you false hope. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. And so oftentimes these sorts of dialogues go on in your ex's mind and they end up talking themselves out of all of this. And so many times when people feel overwhelmed with things like this, they end up staying still and playing it safe by just saying like, okay, this is kind of overwhelming. This is confusing. I'm just going to, not make a decision today. And I'm just going to not be in contact with you today. And then, today turns into tomorrow and tomorrow turns into the day after that. And then it turns into next week and then it turns into next month and all of that. By the way, if you like this video, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up button for this video because it does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. YouTube takes interactions on videos like thumbs up and comments and things like that. And it says, hey, this is a pretty good video. Maybe I want to share this with more people rather than, these reverse psychology BS videos out there. So if you are finding this helpful, help a guy out with his YouTube channel, hit that thumbs up button. So what we want to do is we want to create an agreement between us and our ex that's basically going to say, hey, this is how we can actually fit into each other's lives, right? Rather than just having this sort of like, hey, this is confusing, I don't know, what are we supposed to do? Let's figure this out on our own kind of thing. It's like, okay, hey, I know it's confusing. I know it's unclear how we're supposed to fit into each other's lives, but you know what? I think you're an all right person, and I think you probably would agree that I'm an okay person as well too. Yeah, we're maybe not the best together, but why don't we just figure this out together? Why don't we just somehow figure out how we can fit into each other's lives? And if things ever seem a little bit weird or awkward or overwhelming, or it seems like we're getting in over our heads, or there's too much pressure or something like that, just let me know and we'll slow things down. Or we can just, recalibrate and just do whatever we need to do moving forward. And likewise, if I ever feel that way, I'll just tap you on the shoulder and we'll figure this out as well too. Does that sound like something that we can agree to? So if you put this in place, that can actually help to create a good dynamic between you and your ex. Some sort of actual agreement for how the two of you can actually relate to one another so that it's not just, well, golly, movie says that I should hate your guts, but this person who's posturing on Instagram says that your ex is trash and maybe I should think that way too, right? Instead of that, you can actually create an agreement between one another on how to relate to one another. And this can be super helpful actually. And then the next thing you also want to do is drop the pressure and expectation. There's so much pressure and expectation between the two of you, primarily because the two of you obviously used to be in a romantic relationship. And so you're accustomed to seeing each other in a romantic sort of way. If we drop the pressure and drop the expectation, then your ex is actually gonna have a much lower barrier to getting in contact with you. Because if they're thinking like, oh my goodness, like, are we dating? Do they think that we're dating? Like, am I ready to date? How do I feel about this? Do I want to get back together? I don't know. They're gonna work themselves up and they're gonna stop themselves from interacting with you. So if we can drop that pressure down by just letting them know, hey, let's not force anything that's not there. Let's just be friends for now. And let's just enjoy connecting with one another in the moment. And we'll figure out everything else as we go along. Does that sound like that works for you? That is probably the best way to go about dropping pressure and expectation. I've talked about this many times before. You don't need to worry about the friend zone. So don't worry about the whole, like, let's just be friends for now thing. It's totally fine. Your ex is probably never going to actually see you as just a friend, but they just need something to tell themselves that's going to give them permission to spend time with you when they start asking these questions. And if they have this answer already in their mind that says, oh, we're just friends, yeah, that explains why we're texting, that explains why we're meeting up, that explains why we're spending time together, then they're going to give themselves permission to actually do that. And of course, the more that the two of you actually connect and bond and get closer together, the more of an emotional foundation that's going to build up beneath the two of you, that they're actually going to start to realize that, hey, in our own way, we were dating this whole time. Anyway, if you found this helpful, if you do want to put into place some of these things that we've talked about, like the same team conversation and all of that, decreasing pressure, you might be interested in our course called Effortless Connection. It's over at modernlove.life/EC, E as in effortless, C as in connection. See what I did there? So it's modernlove.life/EC. You can also find the link down in the description below this video. But anyway, thank you so much. Please take care, hit that thumbs up button, and I will talk to you next time.